Hi everybody, my name is Piet and I'm the designer of this board game called Myn Pikkewyn. In this video I would like to explain to you in a bit more detail how to play, as well as the various actions you have in each turn. As you can see, the game is already set up for 3 players, and the overall theme of the game is that there is an iceberg floating somewhere in the ocean, and the idea is that you would use your penguins to go and mine out some valuable resources from that iceberg. So let's jump right in. First I will explain the 4 actions that you can take during your turn, and then after that I will basically run through the first couple of rounds of the game with you. So in your turn you must choose one of the following 4 actions to play. The first option is to play action cards. The action cards are these blue cards, and you can play them from your hand onto the table to receive their benefits. The benefit is basically what's displayed in the green block on the card. And for this card you can take one penguin from the box and place it onto your player board, onto those little footprints there next to its igloo. These cards, they don't cost anything to play, but once played they are for sale for that price in the top right corner. So this card will be 1 fish, and that's for sale to the other player, so you can't buy action cards from yourself. And you can play any amount of action cards in your turn. There's no limit to the amount of action cards that you can play. The second option is to send your penguins out to work, either to go fish or to go and mine. Sending your penguins out to work basically just means that you take any or all of the penguins on your player board, so you can send any amount, all those available. Send them out to their work, either to go and fish at this fishing spot over here, or you can place it somewhere in the mine where there's still an open block and a resource available, so you place them onto the footprints that's displayed on the board. The third option is to buy more cards, especially tunnel cards, but you can also buy some more action cards from other players. The currency in this game is fish, and you acquire 2 fish for each penguin that you have at the fishing spot over there, but you can use this fish to go and buy cards. You can either buy tunnel cards by paying the fish to this bill over there, and then you can pick up these tunnel cards. At the start of the game you can buy the cheaper ones that only costs 1 fish, and then later during the game you can buy the more expensive ones as the cheaper ones run out. You can only buy a maximum of 3 cards. So in this round, let's say you buy 2 tunnel cards, and then for the last one you can actually buy other already played action cards from other players. And we say that we normally go clockwise to see if we can buy from the player to our left first, just to keep the game more fair. So this card will cost you 1 fish, and then you can play it in a later turn. And then the last option that you can choose from is to call your penguins back from their work to their igloos. Calling your penguins back from work literally means that you just take them from the places where they worked and you bring them back to the igloos. And remember, if you bring them back from the mine, then you can bring the token that they've mined with them and put it in the bucket on your player board. And then you need to replace that section of the iceberg with a tunnel card, so that the game can continue going down. Alright, so this is the beginning of the game. So the person sitting closest to the table mounted on the board will start the game. In this case it's the green player. So during setup each player received these 2 action cards, and in the first round basically all the players will just play these cards. For this one they will receive 2 new cards, and for that one they will receive 1 penguin. Alright, so you can play it onto the board, and once played these action cards are now for sale to the other players for the amount displayed in the top right corner. But once played, you can receive their benefits. So this green player may pick up 2 new action cards or 2 new contract cards, but for now let's pick up 2 action cards that they may play in a future round, as well as 1 penguin that goes to its igloo on the player board. Alright, the blue player will also do the same, play those 2 action cards, receive 2 new cards and a penguin, and the last player will do the same. So the next round, players can send out their penguins to go and work. So you may either send your penguins to go and fish at the fishing spot over here, or to go and mine somewhere close to an entrance, basically in the top row of the board. But for now we all need fish, so let's send our penguins to go and fish. So in the second round, all the players will basically just send their penguins to go and fish. So remember, at the start of your turn, you may receive 2 fish for each penguin you have at the fishing spot. So in the previous round, basically all the players chose to send their penguins to fish, but you don't get the fish straight away, you only get it in the start of your next round. So the green player now has one penguin there, so in the start of this round they may get 2 fish for that penguin, and you can place your fish in your fish bucket on your player board. Taking fish doesn't count as an action because your penguin has been fishing for the previous round basically. So this player will then choose to play the other 2 action cards that they've picked up in the previous rounds. So they can play it onto the table and receive the benefits that's in the green block. So it's basically an igloo. So you may take one of these igloos and place it on your player board, and another penguin. Now you can't get another penguin without first getting another igloo. So just remember that. And now this penguin is basically just standing there until it's sent out in the next turn. Right? This player, the blue player, actually also receives 2 fish for the penguin that they have at the fishing spot. Place it over there. And they don't have the base cards just yet. So let's leave that for now and buy 2 tunnel cards with the fish they just received. Right, so you can place it back there and buy 2 tunnel cards. Alright, just to show you, that's one of those. Cool. The pink player also receives 2 fish for the penguin that they have at the fishing spot, but they then choose to use the fish to buy more action cards from other players. So they will buy one of these penguin cards and one of the 2 cards from this player. So basically give the 2 fish to this player and they can take the action cards for themselves. So it's the green player's turn, and for the penguin that they have at the fishing spot, they will receive 2 fish. That doesn't count as an action. And then for the action in this turn, they would like to send this penguin standing here doing nothing to go and mine. So at first you can place your penguins in the top row of the mine, somewhere close to an entrance, and they choose to go for gold. Now it's the blue player's turn, and they get the 2 fish for having a penguin at the fishing spot, and they would also like to buy some more cards. So remember, you can buy a maximum of 3 cards in your turn. So they would like to buy the pink player's 2 action cards that's already played, and for the last card they can buy 1 more tunnel card. Okay. Now it's the pink player's turn again, and they also receive the 2 fish for having a penguin at the fishing spot, and they would like to play action cards. So this mining card doubles any other action card that it's played with. So we would like to play these 2 together to receive 2 more igloos, and then we can also pick up 2 more cards and get another penguin. So we'll play all of these together, as there's no limit to the amount of cards that you may play in your turn. Okay, so we receive 2 of these cards, 2 igloos to place onto the player board, and another penguin. Now it's the green player's turn again, and they receive 2 fish for having a penguin at the fishing spot. They need some tunnel cards, so with 3 fish they can buy the maximum amount of tunnel cards, so they can pick up 3 tunnel cards. So they chose the action of buying cards in this turn, and that's all that they can do. Now it's the blue player's turn again. They receive the 2 fish. Always remember the 2 fish that you get for each penguin at the fishing spot. And they now would like to play some cards. They can't play the penguin cards yet because they don't have igloos on their player board. So they'll only play these 2 cards to pick up some more action cards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Okay, so now it's the pink player's turn again. They can get the 2 fish. And they also want to go to mine, so they can send this penguin out to go and stand over there to dig a tunnel. So now it's the green player's turn again, so they can get the 2 fish. And now they would like to call their penguins back. So they choose the action of calling their penguins back, and this is also the mining process. So now they can bring this penguin back with its resource, back to the player board and to its igloo. You can put it in that bucket over there. And then you need to fill that place with a tunnel card, or basically replace the token with the tunnel card, and it needs to connect to at least one of the entrances, and then the idea is to go down. Alright, so that's the end of this player's turn. Oh, they can also choose to bring this penguin back in the action of calling the penguins back. but they choose not to because they want more fish in the next round. Alright, so going to the blue player again, they would like to get some more penguins, so they can play this card along with the mining card that doubles up to get 2 new igloos, and then they can also play the 2 penguins. So they can get 2 more igloos to place over there, and put some penguins in the houses, and then with these 2 they can't do much at this stage. Cool. Oh, and also they can get 2 fish for the penguin at the fishing spot. Right, onto the pink player's turn. They would also like to mine, but they can't mine yet because they don't have any tunnel cards yet. So they would buy the maximum of 3 tunnel cards with some fish. 1, 2, 3. For 1, 2. Oh, actually, that's the last 2 tunnel cards that only costs 1 fish. So they would need to pay an additional fish to get an additional tunnel card that costs 2. Alright. Okay, moving on to the green player's turn again. They would like to go and mine again actually. So let's send out another penguin to go and stand over there. You'll see that there are some footprints in the iceberg at each block, and that basically tells you how many penguins you need to mine that block. So here at the bottom you actually need all 4 penguins to mine at the same time in order to get that resource. So the first row you only need 1, moving down you need 2 penguins. Alright, and also receive the 2 fish, and then this player's turn is done. Moving on to the blue player, they now have 2 penguins to send out to go and work. First receive 2 fish, and then they can send both of them out to go and work. So as you can see, the second row here you need 2 penguins to mine that resource, so they can send out both of them at the same time. Right, onto the pink player's turn, they receive 2 fish, and now they can mine. So let's choose a tunnel card to play. Okay, they are standing over here, so they call the penguin back along with its resource, and let's build a tunnel going this way. So it still connects from that entrance and it goes down this way. Right, and yeah, the whole game will continue where all the players will continue to mine into the iceberg. Now the tunnels are not owned by any players, so any player can use any tunnel, and as long as they enter from the top going down. So remember, as you go along you also want to pick up some of these contract cards. So in order to do that you need to buy more of these action cards from other players, because you can't buy action cards from yourself. So this player would need to buy an action card from that player, and then in the next round play it in order to pick up 2 of these contract cards. Right, and these contract cards are what you need in order to calculate points at the end of the game. So as you can see, for this one, for each golden nugget that you've mined you'll receive 2 points. For that one, for each of those combinations that you've mined, you can get 5 points. Right, so maybe just to explain the bomb card. This bomb card can be played onto the board to replace an existing tunnel card. So this player can choose to play it there and to replace the tunnel card. So they now receive this tunnel card that they can play in a future round. And this bomb card is now available to mine actually. So another player can send a penguin and place it onto the mine card to use in a future round again. And when they mine this card, they need to replace it again with a tunnel, just as you would mine out a resource nugget. Now, just for the sake of this video, I'll speed this up a bit. So our players will continue in this fashion to take 1 action per turn, with the aim of mining all the resources from the iceberg. And remember the 4 actions, you can either send out your penguins or call them back, and then you can either play action cards or buy some new cards. Awesome. And then at the end of the game, when all the resources have been mined out from the iceberg, the idea is to calculate to see who the winning player is, or who got the most golden coins, by basically fulfilling these contracts with the resources that you've mined. This quick rules sheet, also found in the box, gives quite a good example of how you can divide some of the nuggets on different tokens to different cards, and how you calculate the points at the end of the game. So you can just refer to this sheet when you get stuck. So yeah, I think this video covers the most of the rules. If you find that there is still something that you don't have clarity about, you're welcome to contact me, or you can just make up a house rule to see what best works for you. Thank you so much for watching.